What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We are once again using the last team from my 5 rental codes video. If you haven't checked it out already, I really highly recommend you do. It has a bunch of different teams that perform well in Series 9 and are a bunch of different archetypes, so you can find one that suits your playstyle. So this is just a pretty standard balanced team that focuses a lot on setup, where you have Garchomp with Swords Dance, you have Moltres with a Nasty Plot, as well as Bronzong with Iron Defense, and Kartana with the Beast Boost. So the main goal is just like figure out how to put on continuous pressure and set up and then sweep in the end game. We do have Comfy with Draining Kiss to trigger the policy on Moltres. It can also theoretically trigger a policy on Garchomp, and I'm hoping that people seeing the two next to each other will suspect that the policy is on Garchomp, not on Moltres, and try and treat it as such. Other than that, we do have Rotom with Will-O-Wisp. I think the team has so much set up already that having a way to deal status and just have Rotom kind of do what it normally does is a nice option. And then Bronzong kind of as our main answer to Trick Room. This team is pretty fast, and so being able to have something that functions well and also reverse as needed, I thought was very important. So the code is included, and with that, let's just hop right into the first game. All right, battle number 1, and we are looking at Zapdos with Regidrago, a Volcarona, Rillaboom, Dusclops, and Glastrier. So, what? Regidrago is scary. So I like Comfy for that, with the idea that Comfy can just, it obviously stops the damage from that, as well as Garchomp. I think the huge rock slides that Garchomp has make it an incredible asset, right? It can go for rock falls if need be, and it has great damage. Other than that, I think Bronzong is definitely a must, just given the fact that there is the risk of them trying to set up Trick Room, even though Comfy does have Taunt, which I think will be really valuable. And then to wrap things up, I don't think Rotom is really good. I want to say Kartana, but Kartana just is really scared of Zapdos, but probably our best option. So I'm going to go with Kartana as well, just with the idea that if we need, like for example, we need a max overgrowth to trigger the grassy terrain for Comfy recovery, I think that that's going to be really important. So let's kind of see what my opponent goes for. I think, like I said, having so much versatility is going to be really important in this match, right? Because we can do something fast with Garchomp and go for rock slides and then save our max for later, or we have ways of working in Trick Room, as we are going to see. We are going to see the Regidrago alongside the Zapdos. So what I'm guessing is Regidrago is Scarfed. So I want to go for a Draining Kiss here, and then I'm going to protect with Garchomp. I want to scout out and see what the Regidrago wants to do. I'm guessing if it goes for Dragon Energy, let's see, because if it's, we're going to see Zapdos go for a Protect. That's smart. Draining Kiss comes out onto the Regidrago. I'm hoping to get... Okay, I was actually hoping for a lot more than that. We are going to see Draco Meteor into Garchomp, which is really good to know, because now what we can do is we can go for another one here, and then switch out, nope, not into Kartana, into Bronzong. And I actually don't... Nope, not Bronzong. I forget how the interaction with Steel and Dragon works. I'm pretty sure it's not very effective, right? Dragon is not very effective. Okay, so that's good. So what we can try and do is we do see Zapdos Max. So I'm guessing they're going for an Airstream into... Yeah, we're going to see Zapdos. I'm guessing Airstream into Comfy and a Draco Meteor into Garchomp, which means that we can... swap out again? I think Comfy is too valuable to lose. We do get the Regidrago under half. We are going to see an Airstream come out as expected into the Comfy slot. Comfy does hang on, which is really crucial, because now... Yeah, because Zapdos doesn't have great damage into... Garchomp, and at this point, they're... that did way more than I would have liked for it being not very effective. I don't want to sacrifice Comfy. So what I'm thinking is I bring out Garchomp into this slot and go for a Trick Room, which is kind of silly in my mind to have Garchomp be the fastest thing in Trick Room, but I think, yeah, getting the +2, I'm expecting the Drago to switch out, and I'm expecting, what is it called? I'm expecting Zapdos to go for another Airstream, and I'm hoping that Garchomp can take it, which will let us set up a big max Rockfall if need be. As we are going to see a Max Flare come out into, that's really bad, because they might be going for another Draco Meteor. There's no way they called the Garchomp switch. Okay, so they go for Ancient Power onto, is that a weakness policy Zapdos? That is really cool tech. I think the play is sack Kartana. We max guard Garchomp. Sack Kartana. Yeah, sack Kartana. Zapdos' max ends. We can go for a Rockfall onto it. The Regidrago is at -2. And then what we get a Rockfall off to get the boost. We have Comfy come in for free. We also saw that the Regidrago went for an Ancient Power, so we know it's not Scarfed. So we know that the option for Protect is still there. But I think we need to defensively go for a max this turn, just because I expect them to target into Garchomp, right? Because Garchomp is the threat. We are going to see Drago Protect. Makes sense. So no Protect from Zapdos, as we are going to see a max Airstream. Perfect, into Garchomp. So now we have, is this perfect? This is actually a little bit awkward. We can go for a big max Rockfall into Zapdos, and then we can go for, what do they have in the back? Sacred Sword and a Regidrago. I mean, wow, they went for a Heat Wave, and they missed Kartana. Garchomp doesn't take it as well as I would have liked, especially because, yeah, we're about to eat a Draco Meteor. Garchomp hangs on, which is huge, because now we're going to be able to pick up a double from here, and that means that Kartana will actually be the fastest thing on the field. And Kartana's at full health with a Beast Boost. So looking at what my opponent has, other than Volcarona, nothing is scaring me too much, right? Because we can, especially now, because now Kartana is getting a special defense boost, which is really going to help it out too, to help with the special side. So it should be able to take at least one hit from whatever comes out. And we do have Garchomp still maxed, and we do have Comfy that does have the option of providing recovery as need be. So we're gonna see Glastrier come out, as well as Rillaboom. So Rillaboom, I'm guessing, is going to go for what? I'm guessing Rillaboom is going to go for a Fake Out in a Kartana. So I want to just go for a Rockfall here, as well as a Smart Strike into Glastrier. Because of the fact that we have Comfy in the back, Rillaboom's not going to win the one-on-one. We do see, yep, the Fake Out come out. So critical hit, it is what it is. Kartana is going to flinch. I'm guessing a Rockfall should be able to pick up a knockout onto Glastrier, right? Oh god, that thing is so bulky. Glastrier is stupid bulky. As they are going to target into Kartana, which is an interesting choice for sure, because now I can go for, they're going to get the defense drop. I can just bring out Kartana. I mean, not Kartana. I can bring out Comfy to go for the recovery onto Rillaboom. And so now the big question is, how much damage are you going to be able to do with Rillaboom onto Garchomp? Because I mean, it could pick up a KO. Woodhammer is a lot. Yeah, this is just really tricky due to the fact that what is it called? Due to the fact that we are both so low, and Glastrier is such a bit. Okay, so we do have higher priority with so we go for the Rock Slide and we Floral Healing into Garchomp because that has higher priority than Grassy Glide, and then given the grassy terrain, we should recover enough. So you actually want to go into Comfy with the Rillaboom, but I can't afford to get that call wrong. We are going to see a Protect come out from Glastrier, which is actually really smart on their end, as we do get the Floral Healing off into Garchomp, and Garchomp hopefully should go back to full, right? Garchomp goes almost back to full, significantly so. We are going to see a Grassy Glide into Garchomp. We are recovering as they take Grassy, what is it called? Rough Skin damage. We do hopefully connect the Rock Slide onto Rillaboom. We are going to do not that much, unfortunately, but what is our out here? Okay, so I'm going to make a really... I feel like they're going to target into... This is a super aggressive read. I feel like they're going to target into Comfy. So I'm going to Rock Slide and Protect. Because what I'm thinking is I'll get the recovery, then they try to pick up the knockout onto Comfy with Grassy Glide, and then use Glastrier to knock out Garchomp. We are going to see the Grassy Glide perfect come out into Comfy. Now I just need to hit onto Glastrier. We do double connect. This should pick up the knockout. All right, so we are going to get the knockout onto Glastrier, which is great, which means that I can go for another Floral Healing onto Garchomp, and then I should be able to finish off. So I mean, it's still close because of the fact that we can, what is it called? We can miss Rock Slide. So there is 2 turns of grassy terrain left. So I'm going to go for another Rock Slide, as well as go for a Floral Healing onto Garchomp. And so I think the question then is, where does my HP end up at the end of the turn? Right? Because we're going to see 72. So we're at 1. Okay, so we're back to full. So we are going to have Comfy go down, and I'm pretty sure we go for a Rock Slide. We do connect. That is going to be... That is close. Sandstorm is going to subside, and there is 1 turn of grassy terrain left. So they are going to get recovery. So what I want to do is I want to Protect to finish out the last turn, because this will also weaken their Grassy Glide. And so I think given that, the question then is will Woodhammer be enough? Because now we have the chance to flinch, right? Unless they have some kind of secret. Yep. Okay. So we do see that they're just trying to go for a Woodhammer with the idea of getting as much damage as possible. We are giving them grassy terrain, so I don't actually think we will be able to pick up the knockout with this Rock Slide. So this is really critical of, are we going to hit the Rock Slide? We do hit big. Now the question is, are we going to live the Woodhammer? I'm hoping we do, because there is no grassy terrain. We do, and with that, we are going to pick up the first win. So this was really, really, really stressful. I am not going to lie. There were a lot of points where I thought the game could kind of go in any direction. I think losing Kartana so early was really unfortunate, especially given how bulky that Glastrier was. I was expecting that, okay, like Kartana will be able to survive the hit, and then, or like I'll pick up the Rockfall after and just knock out Glastrier easily. But yeah, that was a scary match for sure. But let's just keep rocking and rolling and move to the next one. Okay, game number 2, and it is Regieleki with Spectrier and Urshifu, Landorus with Togekiss and Celesteela. Garchomp, I feel... I like Moltres a lot, actually. Moltres... Is there a reason for Kartana? Probably not. Comfy, probably not as well. So some combination of Garchomp, Moltres, Rotom, and Bronzong. The big question is what? I like Garchomp, Moltres. I think that gives me the most freedom, and then Rotom and Bronzong. The big question, though, that comes out of all of this is... I think this is the best bet. Because I think once Togekiss is gone, Moltres is in a really... Once Togekiss and Regieleki are gone, Moltres is in a really good spot. And so is Garchomp. So I think it's just... Well, for Garchomp, it's just Togekiss. So I think if we can eliminate Togekiss, Garchomp's in a really prime spot to do well. And if we can get rid of Regieleki and Togekiss, Moltres is in a really good spot to do well. And I think Moltres is actually... No, because there also is Garchomp. So we are going to see Spectrier next to Landorus. And I think that that's a really good lead from them. Because now what? You have... Okay, so Garchomp... I mean, not Garchomp. Landorus cannot actually knock out Moltres with a... what is it called? A max Rockfall. So I'm going to actually go for an Earthquake to single target into Spectrier. And I'm going to go for an Airstream into Landorus. Because what this will do is this will guarantee that... Okay, so they are maxing, which suggests to me it's probably Landorus, right? It has to be Landorus. Yeah, we're going to see Landorus. And so what's nice is they're going to hopefully Rockfall into my Moltres, which will trigger the policy. And I think at +2, I should be able to guarantee the knockout onto Landorus. The fear is, I mean, what? Even if they go for a Snarl, I think we're still in a good spot because of the fact that we should also be in Berserk range, so we will still be at +2, and I'm guessing +2 will be enough, and at that point we will outspeed, so we do have really good damage on the board. We are going to see Will-O-Wisp come out from the Spectrier, which is fine. We do have Lumberry on Garchomp, which is going to severely mitigate how much damage we are going to take, and now I think this should put us in a really good spot, right? We are going to get the Earthquake off into Spectrier, just trying to pick up over half, which is a good spot as a result of a critical hit. They are berries, so that, like we can see, like that is a really bulky Spectrier, and we're going to see an Airstream come out from Landorus onto Moltres, which is really smart. It just puts us into Berserk range, which is really nice because now we do have the +1 boost and can go for our own big Airstream back in return. And let's just see, they are Life Orbs, so that's really good to know, as we are going to be able to connect with our own Airstream and do not as much as I would have liked, if I'm gonna be honest, because I don't actually know if that was a roll. I think, what, Rock Slide? $194 doubled. Yeah, I don't know if that's a roll. I'm going to go for a max guard, because I'm actually going to guess that they're going to double up into... Okay, so we're going to see withdraw, which is great, because we are going to be able to pick up some good chip onto the Landorus. And I think if we stall out the Landorus's max, we have Rotom in the back. And wow, Garchomp, you are doing absolutely nothing. For least valuable player, I think we switch out in a Rotom? Probably in a Rotom, right? I want to bring out Rotom, and I want to go for a Darkness onto the Landorus, just because I want to make sure that if we live, I want to make sure that Celesteela has lower special defense, so we can use Rotom really effectively. So big moment of truth onto Moltres. Moltres hangs on with 3. I will 100% take that any day of the week. Any day of the week. Oh, that's so good. Okay, great. We are going to, and at this point, we're going to be able to KO the Landorus. We are going to be faster than the Celesteela, just as a result of the fact that we do have a boost. So we can, we can go for a, what is the signature move? The Fiery Wrath, right? Because now Flash Cannon into Rotom takes nothing. Perfect. Now we have a, do we have 1 turn of max? No, we're done with max. We do have a +1 Moltres that is going to be, just kidding, not faster than everything on the field. There is a Regieleki that would strongly disagree with my fun plan. Right? Because we are only +1. We are +1. So I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt onto Celesteela. You're probably going to go for... Thunderbolt into Steela, and then switch out into Garchomp. They don't have great damage into Garchomp anyway, so it is a pretty safe option. We know that the only thing they have left in the back is support Spectrier, which doesn't like... I mean, I was going to say it doesn't like Moltres, but that doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect Garchomp. This is going to do not much into Rotom. Actually, a little bit more into Rotom than I would have liked. And then Flash Cannon from the Celesteela is going to come out into Garchomp way more than I would have liked. But we are going to connect with the... Why is that not KOing? Excuse me, I would like to ask what the heck. We can... I think we just go for another Thunderbolt, as well as we go for an Earth. No, I'm going to go for a Thunderbolt onto Celesteela and swap out into Bronzong. Because now, this is a little bit of an awkward position. Because, no, because Spectre is so low, but Bronzong can't touch the Spectrier. We are going to see a Volt Switch come out. Okay. That was not supposed to happen. Okay, so I'm guessing the Celesteela is a Sulfest. How do we play around this? Because now, what? They can go for a burn. No, I think I have to bring a Garchomp. I'm guessing they're going to try and Will-O-Wisp in a Garchomp. How low is Celesteela? Can I go for a Body Press? I'm going to protect Garchomp. And I'm going to go for... I'm going to Trick Room. This is, I think, a really interesting option. And the question is, are you going to hit... I feel like, yeah, because if Bronzong lives this turn and we get off the Trick Room, we're in a really good position. Because Celesteela doesn't have great damage into Garchomp, and we do have a Body Press into Celesteela. Mother. Okay, so that was a really great read. I had this great, lovely plan. I was like, oh, I'm going to do all these things, and it's going to be great. And now it didn't happen. I have to Earthquake. Why is it saying super effective? Bronzong has Levitate. And go for a Body Press into Celesteela. And just hope that single target Earthquake is going to be enough. We are going to see the Shadow Ball come out into Garchomp. It does make sense. Garchomp is going to live. We are going to get the Earthquake off, and not going to affect Celesteela. That's fine. I just need to knock out Spectrier. Spectrier... Spectrier just holds on, which means Garchomp is going to go down. So if we had just gone for... That's sad, because if we had gone for... what is it called? If we had just gone for... English. If we had gone for a body press, we would have actually been able to come back, because we would have had Garchomp around and we could have come through. But because yeah, we can't touch the Spectrier, and it does have super effective damage into us. So yeah, that is unfortunate. We can click the Fiery Wrath just in the event that they do something, and then we body press the Regieleki. That's tough, man. You just Volt Switch into Spectrier. I mean, not Spectrier, into Moltres, and then Shadow Ball into the Bronzong, because I can't do anything in return. I'm just trying to think, right? If we had done... Oh, because you Snarl. Come on, live, Moltres. Oh. Bronzong lived. Ugh. That's tricky. I'm just trying to think of what... How could I have played this differently, right? The 4 that I brought Garchomp, Moltres. I think... I don't think there was a good argument for either of the 2 that I didn't bring. I think I should... Because I couldn't afford to not target Landorus with... I couldn't afford to not target Landorus with the Moltres in the beginning. I guess what I could have done is I could have led Rotom with Moltres. That would have actually been my best lead, because then I threaten with Hydro Pump onto Landorus, and I threaten with Fiery Wrath, so I can immediately put pressure on. I don't think Landorus can pick up a KO if I max, and then I can return with some big damage. So that definitely would have been the better lead, but that is what it is. Let's just keep rocking and rolling and play one more. All right, last battle of the day, and this is interesting. All right, so it's Comfey with Suicune, Glastrier, a Regieleki, Urshifu, and Zapdos. I think... Rotom is really big because of the fact that they have Suicune, they have a Zapdos. So I like Garchomp Rotom, right? And probably maxing the Rotom. I think having the Will-O-Wisp option for Glastrier is also really nice. From there, I think probably Kartana, right? Because Kartana has Aerial Ace for a lot of different things. So I think it has Aerial Ace for the Zapdos and the Urshifu. It has Leaf Blade for Suicune, and it has... Why am I leading? Oh, Garchomp because of Aleki. I think that makes sense. We do want to scare away the Aleki. Honestly... And then what? Moltres, pretty useless. Bronzong? Let's bring Bronzong. Their team is pretty physical. Obviously, the Urshifu doesn't really care. But I think having a second option for Glastrier isn't necessarily the worst thing. Especially, I think, with Kartana being able to set it up effectively is going to be pretty crucial. And yeah, once the Aleki... let's see. So they're going to lead with Glastrier and Comfey, which suggests to me that they're going for... a Trick Room. So I want to switch out into Bronzong. Actually, I do want to switch out into Bronzong. I'm going to bring out Bronzong and go for a Will-O-Wisp onto Glastrier. I think if we get the Will-O-Wisp off, we should be in really good shape. And I'm guessing, given the fact that they have Comfey next to it, it is going to actually no. I was gonna say I'm guessing it could be a weakness policy variant, but I don't think so. We are gonna see it max. I'm hoping it's not Lumberry. Lumberry would be pretty scary. But even then, I don't think it's the end of the world. Comfey does carry Ally Switch, though, which is definitely a little bit not the best. So the question is, can we stall out the max? As we owe... Nice. So we do see the Ally Switch come out, as they are going to Hailstorm into Bronzong. So I think this is fine. They don't... Yeah, because we're going to be faster than Glastrier because they didn't go for a Trick Room. And so now is the question of, are you going to let Bronzong set up, or are you going to try to set up your Trick Room, right? Because we can safely go for an Iron Defense, and then we can hit into the Glastrier slot, because it's either you are going to Ally Switch again and let us start building up Iron Defenses, or you are going to try to set up Trick Room. I think it does make... I mean, I could see the argument for going for a second Ally Switch, but yeah, let's kind of see how this works out. I think Ally Switch is a very frustrating move to play around, because now it does come down to critical hits, but we have used one turn of their max, right? And they're not doing much, and we do connect with the Will-O-Wisp. The big question, though, is, are you Lumberry? And they're not. So that's actually really good for us, right? Because even if you set up Trick Room at this point, like, you're not going to be doing that much damage as you go for Max Quake. Okay, so I'm guessing maybe they called the Heat Proof. But either way, like, this is a really good position, right? We still have our max. They have, at this point, done 30 damage onto my Bronzong with Hail. Like, they have no boost. They're burned. The only issue, though, is Bronzong is going to kind of be chilling at that HP for a while, especially because I don't have Comfey in the back. But I think that's fine, right? We have burns on two things. I'm going to go for a second Iron Defense and go for a Protect. I'm guessing they're going to want to... what is it called? They're going to want to go for a Max Knuckle. We are going to see Comfey withdraw, as they're going to bring out Regieleki, which is scary for sure. But I think, given the fact that we do have +2 at this point, we do see, as I expected, a Knuckle to come out into Rotom. It's going to do 4 damage, and we're going to get a second Iron Defense off. So we can, at this point, go for a Max Knuckle onto the Regieleki. I mean, not a Max Knuckle. We are not maxing Bronzong. We can go for a Body Press onto Regieleki. Any sort of sash it may have will be broken, and I cannot see it living a +2 or a +4 Iron Defense. And now Glastrier is going to be little again. So overall, I think a pretty good position, because we know they have Comfey. So once we get rid of Garchomp, once we get rid of Aleki, we'll be in a much better position. So we can go for a Body Press onto you, and then let's just try and get some chip damage onto the Glastrier. Ideally, I would love... I'm going to max Kartana, so I have to finish out this Trick Room. I think it still is a little tricky. We are going to see Glastrier swap out, which is great, and they're going to reveal Comfey, which is cool, because we're just going to get a little bit more residual, and this Body Press should finish off. Yep, okay, so we do get rid of Regieleki, which is great, because that in my mind was the biggest threat to Bronzong at this point, and we do get a lot of... Wow, oh, it was a crit. I was like, we do get a lot of damage onto Comfey, and we do see Comfey revealing that it does have a Healing Berry. So at this point, I think the focus is... What? We want to... we probably want to stall out the hail. Glastrier gave up its boost, and I think once we can get rid of Trick Room, we should have Kartana being able to clearly finish the game, because of the fact that we do have Steel Spike for both Comfy and Glastrier, and their last one is Urshifu. So Urshifu, we're just gonna go for a body press, and we're just gonna double up into Urshifu. I don't see any reason not to, and I think, yeah, seeing that should Giga Drain. Oh, smart. Trying to get as much damage onto Rotom as possible, and I think they're not going for a Sucker Punch. They're going to trigger the Citrus, and I think given the fact that we now are going to be able to pick up the knockout onto Urshifu, Bronzong should be able to finish off this game, right? Because, yep, oh, no Sash. Or, oh, there's the Sash. And then, yep, we have Thunderbolt from Rotom picking up the knockout. We can then go for another, what is it called? We can go for another Body Press just to guarantee that in the event that Glastrier is is Policy, we will be able to stop that, and then we can just go for another Thunderbolt onto Comfy, because it is going to be taking continuous chip from that burn. And so I think we're in a really good spot, right? We can clean up pretty nicely at this point. I think they just didn't bring a good answer for Bronzong. And I think their answer was Urshifu, and it just so happened that they brought it out in Trick Room where we were able to really easily take advantage of it. So we can go for a Thunderbolt here, and I don't see, I guess props, yeah, I was gonna say, I can't see how my opponent can really come back from that. So really good job. I think Bronzong really came in clutch when I needed it to, and it was something that I was really ambivalent about when building this team, and it really pulled through, and I'm super happy with everything it did. So excited with how this team worked out today, excited to play more games with it tomorrow, and then hopefully some cool Series 10 content, as well as a bunch of fun teams as we wrap things up. But yeah, until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.